Welcome to Random Product Critic, a channel about critiquing anything that can be bought. We're going to deviate a little bit from our regular random product reviews or critiques this week, and we're going to look at an announcement that came from E3 this year for the Final Fantasy VII Remake. This is really exciting to me, and it will be a future product that we can review, but kind of want to just give a background on Final Fantasy VII, as well as things we know about this remake. Hopefully to give a little bit of insight on what we're going to be looking for when they do come out with this remake. So to start with, I started Final Fantasy VII not with the actual game itself, but with the handheld PSP game Crisis Core, which is a prequel to Final Fantasy VII. It's a very similar storyline, but it's a different character, kind of the person that raises the main character in Final Fantasy VII. So Crisis Core, it came out after. Still, both of them were created by Square, and in Crisis Core you got more of a 3D experience. You get to see some really good graphics, especially for a handheld. It builds upon the orchestration of music for Final Fantasy VII and just added much more depth and more instrumentals and things. And the storyline for Crisis Core was just very strong. I have never been more, I guess, emotionally attached to a game before this Crisis Core that I played. And from that point, I was just absolutely had to have more Final Fantasy. So the natural step was, well, I love Crisis Core so much, let's look at Final Fantasy VII. So I was able to have a hacked PSP and play Final Fantasy VII on the PSP. So just to give a background of Final Fantasy VII, it came out in 1997 by Square, and the whole concept is you have this organization called Shinra, and they're basically sucking the life out of the planet and creating these materials and energy from it. And your job in the game is you join this rebel group and you're trying to stop Shinra. There's a lot of depth to this game, though. There's just unbelievable stories in it, just emotions every which way that you can play, and there's hours and hours and hours of gameplay. There's a lot of side quests, and you can spend just massive amounts of time on it and never get bored with it. What was really unique about Final Fantasy VII was the fact that it was the first in the series to actually feature 3D renderings. So it had a lot of 3D cutscenes, had a lot of just new things to the Final Fantasy franchise. Very open type of game, and it did include kind of the overall 3D aspect, but it still incorporated some of the nice things like the fighting system and whatnot from some of the previous Final Fantasy games. So why are people so excited with this remake announcement? It all comes down to that storyline and the gameplay. Just overall, the storyline for 7 is extremely strong. A lot of people would argue the best in the series still. And not only that, there's just really strong side stories as well. You've got Crisis Core, you've got a couple other side stories like prequels and whatnot. You also have a whole movie called Advent Children that was created, which kind of took place after the game. And overall, it's just a very good storyline, and people just have fallen in love with how it's played and just everything about it. So, kind of what's exciting about this remake is it's been long overdue. It can be a massive cash cow for Square and PlayStation because it is a remake, and so many people love this game. But not only that, people want to see, you know, a good, high quality, I guess, 3D game that goes back to something so nostalgic. We got a really good taste of what this 3D could accomplish when they came out with Advent Children movie. Um, there's just a lot of things that you could see, you know, how the characters would interact a little bit better. You could see, you know, how gameplay, fight systems could improve. You can see how the storyline just gets even more emotionally involved when you start adding more realistic situations onto it. So to talk about Advent Children a little bit, just so you get an idea, it was another Square production, and I think Visual Works was another group that helped develop that. And this movie, it was set after Final Fantasy VII, after Shinra was kind of brought down and the life force of the planet was brought back, but there's still a lot of things that they needed to clean up. So they're trying to help clean up everything, and they're still trying to fight off some of the people that are trying to bring back all the organizations and all the villains and whatnot. But Advent Children, the storyline's not quite as strong as the video games, but it did give us that 3D look of, you know, what we could accomplish on all of these different characters, like how we can get them to be more emotionally involved. So when we see this remake on, or I guess the clip that was previewed at E3, it's not very surprising to me that it follows the very same type of 3D graphics that Advent Children followed, because they want to keep it really close to the original, but they want to also make it completely new and just completely off the wall on how much detail there is. Okay, if we look at the trailer that they kind of gave us for this remake, there are some really cool things that I liked. They kind of pulled pieces from the original game. They've got that train there that's just a very staple part of kind of showing the city, especially when you watch the movie and play some of the side games. You'll see that same scene and everything, the same type of slums that you're playing in for a good chunk of the game. And you just get a lot of nostalgia from seeing these common areas, but they're all, you know, upgraded. You get to see actual people in there, instead of, you know, just really rudimentary 3D graphics. And obviously the big kicker is the frozen scene that's been going around on the internet of the behind visual of Cloud with the huge sword and his messy hair. It's an unmistakable character. He's been used kind of as almost like a mascot for Final Fantasy in general. People know who Cloud is. He's even featured in different games because he's just such a popular character. So it makes a lot of sense for them to end the video on, you know, not a complete shot on him, but just enough of a teaser where everyone's just, you know, excited, maybe chills through you a little bit. And we're going to see something really exciting, I think, here when they create it. So I'll give you a couple other just interesting things that we know. We do know that this remake has been planned for quite a while, and there have been a lot of little hints and previews of it throughout the years. They're saying, you know, we don't want to rush this. We want to make it the most perfect game ever, and we don't want to, you know, rush something that people are really nostalgic for. When you try to remake something and you don't do it right, when people are just absolutely in love with it, it can really hurt the company. So I think they're being smart and taking a lot of time to do this. And what's really nice as well is now they have a platform on the PS4 which can handle just very stunning graphics, handles a lot of storage space, good processing, awesome memory, and really good graphics in general. Whereas previous systems, I don't think would do the justice of a remake, because you just couldn't get the absolute detail of everything. You know, hair flowing in the wind, the wrinkles on people's faces. You know, just absolute stunning detail that you can accomplish or you couldn't accomplish it in previous platforms. So I think that's another reason why they've waited. But we do know that obviously they're ready to do this. They have the right platform. We're not sure if it's going to be you know, just PlayStation for now, or if they're going to release it on other platforms later. We also don't really have a release date, but we do know it's coming, and coming very soon. So I think people are extremely excited in general. So with all this said, I think my next plan of action is going to be kind of looking back at the past games that have already been remade, and I'm just gonna, you know, maybe play through Final Fantasy VII Original, maybe not all the way through for all the side quests, because it takes a long time to get all that done, but maybe just the main storyline, and then follow it with Crisis Core so you can get a little bit better visual experience, get the better soundtrack. Then followed by Advent Children is definitely my recommended next step, because you're going to get even greater depth on this 3D experience and what they can accomplish with emotions. The translation's a little bit wonky in that movie, so you have to bear with that. And I think that might be another thing that's slowly or made the remake a little bit slower, is just really wonky translations. But so I would watch that and see kind of what they already had in place and what they wanted to work with. And then once this remake comes out, we'll get the whole full-blown experience, you know, whole HD. I expect really, really fine detail. You know, the gameplay will probably stick pretty closely to what we've seen for Final Fantasy VII Original, but I bet we'll see a lot of improvements as well. You know, even just running around and things. So I'm expecting a lot of detail on this, since they've taken a long time to remake everything. It's been, again, since 1997, so you know, it's been quite a few years, and people are just on the edge of their seats to see what can be accomplished on this game. And I think it's going to be a really exciting game in general. So if you have any experience kind of with Final Fantasy VII, I feel like it was one of, I can't say life-changing, but one of the best games that I've ever played, storyline and just gameplay in general. But if you have something similar, experiences, or any other comments that you'd like to make about the series, I know we're excited for it. Feel free to comment below, and hopefully we'll get some more information from Sony or Square or whoever, maybe some more sneak trailers or images or something pretty soon here. So leave comments below and feel free to share again. Thanks for watching. If you liked our video, please subscribe. Don't forget to thumbs up the video, as well as share with others that may find this video interesting. If you'd like to make a request, click the link below in the description, and also feel free to take a look at some of our other random product videos.